I started engaging with ECF online during lockdown. I was looking for a new church and I came across the live streams that ECF were broadcasting. And I was watching them and Tom was speaking and I recognised myself very clearly in the person he was describing in his message, and recognised that there were things in my life that I needed to work on, and felt that God had intended for me to hear that particular message at that particular time. And I was praying and I was like, thanks very much God, message received. Clearly not the church I'm going to join because that sounds like a lot of work. But God was very clear that I was to continue watching the streams. And then when lockdown was lifted and we were able to meet in person, I started to come along, and I've been with the fellowship for the last 18 months or so. I really believe that if God had designed a programme of sermons for me, just with me as the only person in the church, then they would have been pretty much the messages that have been brought by the leadership over the last 18 months. And what's been amazing is any time I've tried to respond to anything that's been brought, God has been so faithful in meeting me far more than halfway, to be honest. 95% of the way, with me taking the smallest steps, which just goes to show that the words that have been brought are God-breathed and living. Because when something is said on a Sunday morning and then you take it into your life and try to apply it, and you see God stand by that, you know that there is a prayerful leadership bringing messages that the Lord wants to convey. In terms of the Contagious church and why of all the streams I watched, ECF was the place that I felt that I should make my home. I would say two things. I would say something generally and something specifically. Generally, I would say you need to be where God wants you to be. If He has a plan for your life, and He does, and He plans to use you as part of His church, and He does, then He knows where you're going to have the greatest impact, the people that you need to be around, the words you need to hear, the ministry that you're going to be part of. And so what I've learned is that you need to listen and make sure that you are where God wants you to be, and not running from difficult messages that are uncomfortable and maybe require you to do some work on yourself. And specifically, I would say the reason that I feel God drew me to ECF is because this is a fellowship which is about more than just a nice club on a Sunday and enjoying the benefits and perks and smug satisfaction of Christianity. It's about discipleship, and it's about living a life that reflects the faith that you proclaim you have. It's about understanding the obligations and responsibilities of Christianity, as well as the incredible blessing that comes from those. And it's about playing your part in the body, whether that's serving in the church or something in terms of wider ministry. And for me, ECF is a group of people who all want to live authentic Christian lives that have an impact in the world, that help in whatever way we're called to reach the lost and to really be part of the work that God is doing. And being part of ECF means being part of a family where we all encourage each other and hold each other accountable, so that we are doing what we need to do and being the people that God has called us to be in this place and at this time, and doing so with a leadership, with a vision that are clearly prayerful, Bible-based and ambitious for ECF, not to grow for the sake of growing or do performative things for the sake of doing them, but to really be the people God has called us to be, to play our part in His plan, whatever that is, to bring revival and to see more of the lost come to Jesus. It's an absolute privilege to be part of ECF, and I'm so grateful to everybody that's made it my home.